Jai Hind, welcome to the A2S Academy. A very good morning candidates. Myself शैलेंद्र त्रिपाठी वेलकम करता हूँ आज हमारे YouTube चैनल पे A2S Academy पे. Guys, as we talking earlier, in a class 11, today we are going to take a new unit that is the kinematics, and the kinematic first unit is that motion in a straight line. Clear? So today we are going to study about the motion in a straight line. Clear? First of all, we are talking about that what we have to study today. What we are going to study today, first we shall talk about that. Motion in a straight line. This is the unit of the kinematics, means mechanics, which is the branch of physics. Clear? The unit name is motion in a straight line. Today we are going to study about this unit. Today first lecture of this unit is just about the introduction. Clear? We are talking about the introduction of the motion in a straight line. This is the first lecture of that. Clear? See, when we talking about mechanics, what is a mechanics? Mechanics is the branch of physics which deals about the study of motion or rest of an object. Clear? What is the mechanics? Mechanics is the branch of physics in which we are going to deal about those objects which remains in a state of rest or in a state of the motion. So it's as simple as that. If someone asks you what is the mechanics, so mechanics is the branch of physics in which we are deal with that types of object which are in the state of motion or in the state of rest. Clear? Next thing is that mechanics have the first unit that is called the kinematics. Clear? First we talk about the what is the kinematics, and then after we talk about the unit which is the motion in straight line, what topic we have to going to study. Clear? How we proceed in this chapter. Before as I started about the kinematics, first I would like to tell you that mechanics have some sub branches. Clear? Mechanics have the three sub branches. Their name is first static, second is kinematics, and third one is dynamic. So mechanics have the three sub branches: statics, kinematics and dynamics. So now we are going to study about each and every sub branches of mechanics in a detailed version. So first we are talking about the static. Take what is a static? Just take a screenshot of that, and after that we are proceed about the static. Clear? Take it. Okay. See, now static. It is the sub branch of mechanics in which we are going to study about the stationary object, stationary or rest object. Clear? So what is a static sub branch of mechanics? It states that in this static sub branch of mechanics, you are going to study about that types of object which remains in rest or a stationary. Clear? In the static sub branch, time is not essential. Clear? Time is not essential. Clear? Second is kinematics. It is the sub-branch of mechanics in which we are going to study about the object which is in motion without considering its. What is the kinematics? It is a sub branch of mechanics in which we are going to deal about the motion object without knowing about any its cause, why it is in motion. Clear? In the kinematics, we are going to study about that object which is in motion, but we don't know why it is in motion. What are the reasons? What are the causes of it remains in a motion? We don't know. So that types of object comes in the branch of kinematics. Clear? Without considering its causes of motion. We don't know why it is in motion. That's why that types of object which is in motion, think we don't know the reason why it is in motion, that types of object we are going to study in the sub branch of mechanics, that is called the kinematics. Clear? Clear way? See, take its screenshot. Okay, take it. Okay, now after that static and kinematics, we are going to the third sub branch of mechanics, that is called the dynamics. What is the dynamic? Dynamic word speak that which is in motion. Clear? That we know. Dynamic word means is which is in motion. Clear? But in physics, what is the dynamic? Because it is a sub branch of mechanics. Clear? So dynamics, it is the sub branch of mechanics in which we deals the object which is in motion considering its causes of motion. And so here, what is a dynamic? Dynamic is a sub branch of mechanics in which we are deal with that types of object which is in motion, and we know the causes of reason of why that object in motion. That types of states of motion where we know why they are in motion, that types of object we are going to study in the dynamic, which is a sub branch of mechanics. Clear? In as we're talking about in the three sub branches of mechanics, so you have seen that static is means the object which is stationary, means rest. Kinematics is that branch in which object in motion, but we don't know what are the causes of that object in motion. Dynamic, we know the reason why it is in motion. Clear? Time is not mandatory or essential for the static, but time is essential for both the branches of kinematics and dynamic. Clear? So guys, this is the three sub branches of mechanics. Clear? Take it the full screenshot if you are going to want to take it. And after that, we are going to proceed about our next topic, that is their next term, which is a very mandatory for the motion in straight line and the branches of mechanics, that is the rest and motion. Clear? Come on, let's go. See, when we talking about the terms, the most two important terms is that first is the motion. Clear? What is the motion? What is the motion? See, when object changes its position with respect to time, with respect to surrounding, you can say that surrounding also. See, you can say that with respect to its surrounding under the passage of time, under the passage of time. It means when object changes position with respect to surrounding and under the passage of time, means in the respect of time also, that types of object are in motion. Clear? I am going to take one example. Let's see here. Your doubts is clear. See, suppose that this is a road. Clear? This is a road and there are the several houses beside it. It's several houses. Think this is the house A, this is the B, this is the C, and this is the D. Clear? One car, my favorite BMW car. Think one day I have. This is my dream. Okay. So this car, BMW car, it is in motion. Take it is in motion. Clear? As we saw with respect to a time we are talking about, as we saw, suppose that okay, at 1 hour, take at 1 o'clock, it is in the front of building A. At an 2 hour, thing means 2 hour means at 2 o'clock, it is in the front of building B. At 3 o'clock, it is in the front of C. At 4 o'clock, it is in the front of building D. See, so what you have seen that? You have seen that as far as the time is changing, its surrounding also changes. It means this BMW car, this object change its position with respect to time also and with respect to surrounding also. So when the surrounding part also plus time is also changing, both are changing together and the object is also changing, that types of object should be called the motion. Clear? That type of object is called the motion. Suppose that you are guys seen this lecture, take while sitting or while sleeping, take you are guys in the state of rest, but I am in the motion. See, I am walking like here left or a right. So what type of object I am? I am motion, because with the surrounding plus with respect to time, I continuously changing my position. Clear? I continuously changing my position. So what I am? I am in motion. What I am? I am in which state? I am in motion state, guys. Clear? I am in motion state. Clear? I hope you get it. You will get it. What is the motion? Simple. Motion is that object which change its position with respect to surrounding or under the passage of time. Yeah, with respect to time also. Clear? Suppose if this is the motion, think now we are going to study about the rest. So please listen carefully. If this is the motion, suppose that this BMW car are it not in motion, are not in motion. Take. So if I see this BMW car at 1 o'clock, I will get it that it is in the front of the A building. Clear? As I see 2 o'clock, same it is in front of the building A. I see in the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 and 6. Whenever I see it always stand in front of the A building. So what you guys notice here? You notice here the object which do not change its position with respect to surrounding under the passage of time, that types of object are in the state of rest. Simple as that. Clear? So what is the rest? Just write down its definitions. Rest means when object do not changes its position with respect to time, with respect to its surrounding, under the passage of time, that types of object we called in the state of rest. What called? In the state of rest. So I hope here you got that what is the term motion and rest means. Clear? Rest means which do not change its position with respect to surrounding and time, and motion means which change its position with respect to surrounding and its time. Clear? So this is the motion and rest. One most important question which are come in the exams also, that is motion and rest are relative to each other. How? How motion and rest are relative to each other? Let's see. You guys taken the screenshot of that? Clear? Take it. Okay. See, come to the question. The most important question of the teacher asking, generally they are asking, how motion and rest are relative to each other. See, well, I'll show you here. This is a bus. I have taken a bus. Clear? Bus is in the state of motion. Bus in the state of motion. Clear? Bus in the state of motion. The passenger, take the passenger sitting in the bus. Here is the, suppose that here is the one person sitting over here. Take. And the next person is sitting just in front of him. He is sitting like this. Take. And here is the another person. He is sitting over here on the bench. Clear? On the bench he is sitting. Here, you guys see here. See, when we're talking about the first person which is sitting on the bus and bus in the state of motion, both the passenger, the first person over here and second is fellow passenger, both are in the state of rest. When they are seeing to each other, they are in the state of rest. But when the third person which is sitting over the bench, he see that both the person are in the state of motion. The both state of rest and motion occurs at the same interval of time. That shows that rest and motion are related to each other. It means rest depend on the motion and motion is depend on the rest. They both can occur at the same interval of time. They can. Okay? And that should be called that rest and motion are related to each other. But a simple example, it's very natural. See, bus are in the state of motion. The person is sitting on the bus and its fellow person, they both are in the state of rest. When both are seeing to each other, they are in the state of rest. But that two person, when the third person are seeing on the bench, which is sitting on the bench, think he is in the state of rest. But when he sees that person, they both person are in the state of motion. Why? Because bus are in the motion. So as we're talking about the third person, which is sitting on the bench, he sees that both the person are in the state of motion. While at the same interval of time, both persons are seeing to each other, they seen that they are both in the state of rest. So at the same interval of time, both state can exist, rest and motion. That's why we definitely say that rest and motion are related to each other. Clear? So for that you have to explain, you have to give in this example. I have taken the bus, you can take the train, you can take the bike, whatever you want to take it. This is a simple question teacher just asked you, how the motion and rest are related to each other. Then explain me. Just you have to give me some example, not any the theory statement is about that why it is in motion and rest. You have to give me the practical example. Clear? See. Next is question is that most favorite, my also, absolute rest and absolute motion can exist. Is there any absolute rest and absolute motion? Is there? Think about that. Is there? Just think. I give you 5 seconds. Just think about that. Absolute means the thing that is fixed. Absolute rest means the object properly remain in the rest. Absolute motion means the object properly remains in the motion permanently. They both are in the state of rest and motion. Really? These types of objects are there in the universe? Practically we are thinking about that. No. Why? See, if we taking about that, we simply be talking about the universe. In universe, we have to take a reference point first. So you have just doubt what is a reference point. So first we talking about the reference point. See, then we come over the absolute rest and motion. When we talking about the reference point are those points which tell us about the state of object, whether it is in motion or whether it is in rest. Clear? Reference point are those points, write down the definition. Reference point are those points which tell us about the state of object, whether it's in motion or rest of which object? Object. It's another object. ठीक? State of another object. And that reference point should be fixed at one point. See, if I see you, ठीक? Suppose that this dot point is fixed. Clear? So this is my reference point. Clear? And from this reference point, I have seen that one person, a person, are walking. So I am sitting over here like this. Clear? At this point, I am fixed, and I have seen that person is walking. Means person is in the state of motion. Clear? How I am able to identify? Because reference point tell about that, and reference point is what? Which tell us about the state of another object which is in the state of motion or in rest. Clear? Suppose that like this, second person, he or she is sitting on the bench. Clear? So from the reference point, if I see this second person be in the state of rest. Clear? So what reference point tell us? Reference point tell us that whatever the state of another object, whether it is in the state of motion or rest, we are able to find that with only a one fixed point, and that fixed point should be called in physics reference point. Clear, guys? That point should be called the reference point. Clear? See, now we come back over the questions that we are asking you. Absolute rest and absolute motion can exist? I say no. Why? Because as we talking about the universe, and in universe, if someone asks you all the heavenly bodies, celestial bodies, all the planets, sun, galaxy, if someone asks you its state, you all guys say that it is in motion. Correct? Clear? Just tell me about that, guys. If there is no fixed point and reference point in the universe, so how we can conclude that all objects, all galaxies, all clusters of galaxies are in the state of motion? Now you got it? It means if we talking about our planets, Earth is rotating around the sun. Clear? Sun is rotating about where? It is rotating around the black hole, and the whole solar system is present in the galaxy, our Milky Way galaxy, and that galaxy and the cluster of galaxy are rotating around there. Take one galaxy rotating around the second galaxy, third, fourth, means all the galaxies are rotating around each other. So is there not any object should be in the state of rest, all the object in the state of motion. So is there any object should not fixed at a one point, that is the rest? Is there no single point, no reference body, no reference point, no celestial body in the state of rest? If there is not any body in the state of rest, how we can say that absolute rest can exist? Clear? So if absolute rest is not exist, so how absolute motion can exist? Because before that we are studied that rest and motion are related to each other. Clear? So reference point is not exist in the universe, so that absolute rest not exist. Clear? For that absolute motion is also not exist. So any object is not present in the universe right now till we can say that it is in absolute in the state of rest or in absolute in the state of motion. Clear? This is the favorite question of teacher, absolute rest and absolute motion. Clear? See, come to the point object. When we talking about the point object, What is the point object? It is defined as the object which traveled distance greater than its own size under the reasonable interval of time then motion of object is called, that type of object is called point object. That type of object is called point object. Clear? So what are the point object? If any object travel a distance under a reasonable interval of time and that distance should be greater than its own size. So that types of object we call that point object. Clear? We just taking one example. If we taking about the earth, first, earth revolving around the sun. Okay, so earth size, whatever the earth size is, that we talking about the radius, it is a 4220 kilometer per hour, है ना, 422 kilometer. It is the radius of the earth. Clear? If we talking about that, if we talking about the distance traveled by the earth around the sun, means revolution, you guys know that it is a greater than this distance. Clear? It means the earth at a fixed, not at a reasonable interval of time, 365 days and 1/4, है ना, it traveled a distance which is greater than its own size. So then earth should be called the point object. Then earth should be called the point object. Clear? Second example, I am going to take that. This example we have taken in the universe. Now we are taking the example in the earth planet. Train travel several thousand kilometers under reasonable time in a track. If we talking about the size of train, clear, it travel several thousand kilometers under a reasonable interval of time, and we saw that that distance is greater than its size. So that train should be called that point object. Clear? Very simple is that. What is the point object? Point object states that if any object travel distance greater than its own size under a reasonable interval of time, that object should be called the point object. Clear? Just note it down. Take a screenshot of it or note it down. Clear? Completed? Okay. After that point object, now we come what we are going to study in the branch mechanics, static or a dynamic or a kinematics. Clear? So we have to study the kinematics, and the kinematics first unit name is motion in a straight line. Clear? So first we are talking about the kinematics. What is the kinematics? You know, the motion of object without knowing the causes of its, the why it is in motion. Plus, I will tell you the another definition of kinematic also. So let's come here. So kinematic means if we break this word into two part, kinematics. Kind means motion, matics means mathematics. Clear? So what is the definition of kinematics? Another definition states that when we are going to study about the object which in motion in the form of mathematics, that is one dimension, two dimension and three dimension, that is should be called the kinematics. Means we study about the motion of object with the help of mathematics in the three dimension, that is the one dimension, two dimension and three dimension. Clear? So then question is arises over here. So what is the one dimension? What is the two dimension? What is the three dimension? We understand that the motion of object we have to study in the terms of math. But what is the one dimension, two dimension and three dimension? So we discuss now what is one dimension, two dimension and three dimension. Clear? Come. First we start with the one dimension. Clear? First we start with the one dimension. See. One dimension. The motion of the object is said to be in the state of one dimension if only one coordinate of if only one coordinate of three coordinate tells about the position of object under the passage of time. So what is the one dimension? One dimension states that the position of object is identified in only in one axis, one coordinates, that should be called the one dimension. Take how the one coordinates? Let's come over the one coordinates. See, you know that in math this is the axis, x-axis, y-axis. Now physics add the one axis more, that should be called the z-axis. Clear? So this is the three coordinate, three axis. Clear? Three coordinate means three axis. If any object change its position only in one axis, whether it is in x-axis, whether it is in y-axis or whether it is in z-axis, that motion of that object should be called the one dimension. Look at over here, this is the origin. Some person are travel from point A to B. Means it's change its position in the only in one axis, one coordinate. है ना? So if we are going to find out the position of that person from the origin, so this is the x1, है ना, position of the person when at the point A, and they change its position from A point to B, so the position of point B should be a what? X2. Take what? X2. Take from A to here, A to B. So the total distance from O to B is x1 plus x2. Clear? So what you have seen here, in a one axis, in a one coordinate, the object changes its position with respect to time. So this object should be in which dimension? One dimension. Clear? We are talking about the example also. See, for example, motion of train in straight track. Motion of bus, car, cycle in a straight path should be in one dimension. They are all in the one dimension. Clear? Motion of freely falling body. Motion of freely falling bodies. Freely falling body means this pen. If I drop it, it goes like this. Take what? The object this object should be free fall object, means freely falling body. Always see, what is a free fall? Free fall means when any object comes to the certain height with no external force applied over it except the gravitational force, that object should be called the free fall. Clear? Actually all the forces are applied over here, but the gravitational force is more powerful than all other forces, so the effect of other forces should be not occur on these types of object. Only a one force effect occur, that is the gravitational force, gravity force. Clear? So that types of object should be called the free fall. Okay? And it always come in the straight path at the center of the earth. Clear? So this is the guys, this is the one dimension. Just write it over here and take a screenshot. Okay, come to the second dimension, means two dimension. What is a two dimension? The motion of object is said to be two dimension if only two coordinates in three coordinates tells about the position of objects. Clear? Come to the graph first. See, this is the x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is the z-axis, and this is the origin. If the person goes like this is the starting point A, and this is the ending point B, and we are taking a coordinates of the point A and B. The coordinates of A point is x1 comma y1 and B is x2, y2. What it shows that? It shows that the position of the point A and B are have two coordinates. Two coordinate means two positions. One from the x-axis and second is the y-axis. So this types of position of object should be called in the dimension of 2. As we talking about that example in real life, motion of planets around the sun, 2 dimension. First, motion of planets around sun is the example of 2 dimension. How? See, this is the sun, clear, and this is the planet moon rotating around it with a certain velocity v, clear. It is rotating around the sun. This is the one axis and another axis is from this, which is called, we guys call the foci and a focus, major axis, minor axis, clear. So this is the one axis and this is the one axis, two axis, two coordinates, है ना. So the motion of planets around the sun should be called the 2 dimension, clear. Second, if we talking about in the earth, see, motion of car in zigzag path. If car goes like this, it means if we taking the axis from here and here and here, so this one should be a one axis, whether it's x, y, z, anything, one axis, and another axis is this. So we got the two axes, clear. So motion of car in zigzag path, that should be a 2 dimension, clear. If you're seeing me, take, if I am walking on a floor, take, this is my one axis, and now I am start walking on the wall. That means I am walking now. I am walking in the second axis. Then at the same interval of time, I am walking in the both the axis, x-axis also and y-axis. Then type I have the dimension of 2 dimension. In the dimension, whether we are going to study the 1 dimension, 2 dimension or 3 dimension, the position of object should be occur in a one interval of time, clear. The 1 dimension, the change in the position of object occurs in a one interval of time, and the 2 dimension also, the position of object are changing from one axis to the another axis in the same interval of time. In the same interval of time, any object changes its position from one axis to another axis, that object should be in the 2 dimension, clear. Write it over here. Take a screenshot. Got it? Okay. So our last topic is that 3 dimension, where our today lecture is ended, clear. So this is the introduction part of the chapter, basic things you have to know about that, take, before studying the main topics. That is the 3 dimension. Three dimension means the motion of object is said to be, the motion of object said to be 3 dimension if all 3 coordinates tells about the position of object, tells about the position of object or body under the passage of time, under the passage of time. Clear? Take in the graph. Let's see. X-axis, Y-axis, Z-axis. Clear? We taking a one body like this. Clear? Take the coordinates. If we have to taking the coordinates of that, see, the coordinates comes what? The coordinate comes here for these 2 points A and B. A coordinate is x1 comma y1 z1 and B coordinate is x2 comma y2 z2. Clear? So this 3 coordinate sets what? Shows what? It shows that the object in the same interval of time, it's in the 3 coordinates, x-axis also, y-axis also, z-axis also, at the same interval of time. If that types of objects occur, that should be called the 3 dimension. Called what? 3 dimension. Clear? Example, motion of kites. Take plane is flying. So kites, birds, plane, jets, these all are the example of 3-dimension motion. They all are the example of 3-dimension motion. Clear? Kite, for example, as we talking that kite, plane, birds, they are all the example of 3 dimensions. Clear? 4 dimension exist, 5 dimension exist, but they are in the universe. They are in the parallel universe things. We are not going to study about the parallel universe. We are not going to study about the 4 dimension and 5th dimension. When you just pass your 12th class and reaching to the graduation, there you just going to be learn about that. The professor teach you about the 4 dimension. So right now till in the school you have to just only study in the 3 dimension. Clear? So these are the 3 dimension. On the basis of this 3 dimension, the motion of objects explained in the form of mathematics with the help of coordinates. Okay, clear? This should be called the kinematics. I hope you guys clear our first introduction lecture of motion straight line kinematics. I hope all your doubts should be clear. For today only you have this. From the next lecture, I am going to take about the next variable of the next term of the motion of the straight plane, and that variable should be a very important for the today only. Thank you and Jai Hind.